take a look at urine movement and hydrostatic pressure. If you look at urine movement through the last parts of the urinary system, you're going to have these hydrostatic pressure forces moving the urine through the nephron. So in other words, you got the flow of the fluid, which is moving it along. Now, once you get out of the kidneys, you're going to have peristalsis moving urine through the ureters. The ureters are basically hollow muscular tubes. The muscle can contract behind the urine and relax in front of it, and you'll get a forward movement. And it's going to do this from the renal pelvis, way up high, close to the kidneys, all the way down to the urinary bladder. The frequency of this muscle contraction varies considerably. You figure when a person's not physically active, the parasympathetic division of the nervous system is active at that time, and that'll increase the frequency of this smooth muscle in the walls of the ureters. Then when a person's very physically active and the sympathetic division is activated, well, then all this muscle in the kidneys will be less active. So then it might contract every 2 to 3 minutes. You'll see the ureters enter the bladder through the trigone, a triangular region formed by 3 holes. 2 where the ureters enter the bladder, and then there's a third hole sort of found somewhat of a distance and in between them where the urethra takes this out. Pressure in that bladder will compress the ureters and prevent the backflow. You definitely don't want it backflowing. You always want a forward flow of this material. Look at the ureters. They're going to bring the urine again from the renal pelvis way up at the kidneys down the urinary bladder. The urinary bladder and the ureters have got a very special type of epithelial tissue in them called transitional. There's a type of epithelial tissue that can actually change cell shape and number of cell layers. You need it in an area where you have expansion, and the urinary bladder is a very good example of that. Urinary bladder itself is largely smooth muscle. It's the detrusor muscle. So it's a big hollow muscular container which will store the urine, and you can void it as you wish. In the pelvic cavity, it's found posterior behind the symphysis pubis, lined with that transitional epithelium, and again, a large amount of smooth muscle in its wall. The trigone on the interior of the bladder, triangular region, where you see the holes from the 2 ureters coming into the bladder, and then the hole for the urethra going out. That area is a little bit less elastic than other parts of the bladder are. You look at the urethra. This is the exit tube for the urine out of the body. You look at the 2 genders, really the only difference with the urinary system is the length of the urethra. It's much longer in males and a lot shorter in females. That's why females are more prone to urinary tract infections. You look at the internal urinary sphincter. In males, this is elastic connective tissue and smooth muscle which keeps the semen from entering the bladder at the time of ejaculation. The external urinary sphincter, skeletal muscle, surrounds the urethra as it extends through the pelvic floor and acts as a valve, preventing backflow. And the micturition reflex is the automatic contraction of that detrusor muscle when it expands. So as the bladder expands and the brain detects the stretching of that muscle in the wall of the bladder, that's an autonomic response to empty it. Somehow we learn to override that autonomic response with our conscious thought. This is why you don't automatically potty train a child or a puppy or anything else overnight. We have to learn how to override that autonomic response. Looking at the effects of aging, after age 20, you're going to lose about 1% of those nephrons every year. That sounds really bad, but you only need somewhere around 15% to maintain homeostasis. So you can actually lose a lot of those nephrons and glomeruli along the way and still maintain health. There'll be a gradual decrease in the size of the kidneys as you get older. So any organ getting smaller, that means it's being lost. But about 1/3 of 1 kidney is all you need for homeostasis. The amount of blood flowing through the kidneys will decrease, means less filtration. You're going to lose glomeruli. You lose that glomerular filtration rate, you're losing the waste removal. Not good. Won't be able to remove the materials you want. The ability to concentrate the urine declines, so you're going to lose more of the good stuff and more water. At the same time, the kidneys won't respond to hormones like ADH and aldosterone the way they did. Those tell the kidneys when to hold water, so more water and other materials will get lost. Remember, vitamin D synthesis also occurs at the kidneys. Lose the kidneys, lose the vitamin D, you won't reabsorb calcium the way you should. Could lead to more osteoporosis, bone fractures, and things such as that right there.